Hello, my name is Micaiah Stevens. This is the second video. We already talked about TextMesh Pro. I thought it would be amazing for this project, and thanks to Code Hoose, he implemented an interface for us. One of the things, I guess we'll just run through this. So this is the TextMesh Pro interfaces. We talked about this in the last video. Micaiah was here. It's my username sometimes. And we got these text mesh objects. But I've decided I've added some features like if you hit tab, you can load this up because I use a keyboard because my Xbox controller is not working. And then when you click on remove, it says, do you want to delete this note? We'll remove it from the save notes. We'll also remove it from in-game object. And yay, it's gone. So, and then if also added this, oops, yep, get out of here. Also added this, if you notice here, when we open up this interface, it doesn't show anything here because there's nothing to show. And then when you add the text, it creates this text, it turns on this text object. And one of the other things too is I can add, if I right click on this input field, which is a TextMesh Pro input field, I can right click and I can say Micaiah was here. And when I click save, it closes the interface because we are now pretty happy with the interface. You can also change this Micaiah Stevens was here and click save and it should update it. Yay! Wow. Talked about, and then so then you get these different I thought about making these a little bit more interactable buttons, like there's no reason for a delete button, but or a save button if there's nothing to save until you click. But it seems like a long-term project. One of the code changes, a lot of yeah, so the toggle UI. These a lot of these are kind of, I don't know, Code House files. So but we added this. I tried to do this left shift and tab, didn't work, but you just basically hit tag and tab, and it toggles the sticky UI. Sets the timescale and stuff like that. One of the things, we created this file called the default value in the, let's see, in the panel here on the input field. Yeah, we added this mono behavior field. We just give it a default value, an image, and a text component, which just happens to be this input field. This is I believe this is a thought this was a TextMesh Pro item, but anyways, or maybe I just created a. I guess not. Anyways, you can do it in a TextMesh Pro. Sometimes I don't. But basically, you need an image for your Oh, I was thinking you might need an image because sometimes when you use you can use the image for the interface to it. But instead I just call this mouse update, and then if you right click on the mouse, it just sets the text of the input field to the default value. I thought this would be really great because I run through a ton of testing, and it's like I type out hundreds of things and it just gets really boring. So I thought it's kind of a first iteration of this idea. Anyways, we talked about this TextMesh Pro. This is my full project where we've got tab, and so we just set this here. He sets it to the sticky note interfaces and stuff like that. And this is part of the sticky note bug item. Some of the names I might have changed because I'm actually thinking of just calling the sticky note item because at some point it's not going to be bugs anymore. One of the other things when this change was made, you also need to change the sticky note mobile because it has a sticky note. It seems like when I was colliding with things, it wasn't getting the components correctly, or maybe there should be get interfaces. Let's see, I think I have that code here somewhere. Which I actually thought about these game objects extensions are really awesome. I have my own for a transform clear. But I switched these around a little bit because I just like the get interface or get component. My get by is actually probably maybe more descriptive, but and then the other thing too is what I did is here instead. I'm not sure if this is still working. He was having a lot of trouble with the game objects and converting these. What I did instead is I just said get components of T, because that's kind of, I'm not sure if this is actually effective. I obviously have some problems here because I get into, I guess this is running, if you switch this to this, it runs it actually runs a Stack Overflow, which is actually not an exception, which is pretty cool. But I think he meant to do the get. I mean, he was doing it correctly, but when you type out code, sometimes you. Um, so that's what I was thinking. Like, hey, just T assets. I was thinking get components, um, and then just returning the assets. I was thinking about multiple components. But anyway, so that's kind of what. I'm not sure if this T is actually a better, because he actually did. I think where T is class or something. Oh wait, no, sorry. Where T colon. Sorry, I'm thinking different languages, but where T is class, so it's like where it's like you. I can't remember how you do that, but oh no, it's where T is class. There we go. Whew. Programming, gotta love it. And then that, but to me, it's like I'm not sure if this is. Because we're just getting the components and, which are just the interface. I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of what this is kind of nice because it pulls out this, you can say I want all the I sticky and components, and then you can pull through the components there. Maybe there's a different way to do this, but, yeah, so anyways, that's, I thought that was and then let's see. We talked about this. Some of the controller as well. Mine's probably a different controller because I changed quite a bit here. Some of the I kind of more tightly coupled the mobile with the controller. Um, but the part of that is right here on your remove button click. This is actually I was going to bring this project up, I guess I didn't, but this is actually from Code House's actual dialog box right here. He creates this entire dialog class using an iDialog, which builds a dialog for you. Oops, sorry. Builds a dialog for you through this set title add button. It's pretty cool. And then I just convert these into TextMesh Pros right away. Here's this kind of singleton pattern and stuff that he was doing to add all the sprites and dialogues, and then which is right here on in the Unity. You can see that this is the dialogue I created right here. It's just the dialogue. You can probably instantiate this, do a lot of things with this, but it's just kind of this dialogue. I create these. I did this sort of myself as well because I do these a lot. Yeah, I just create a header. I set the TextMesh Pro. I think I set this to a. That's what I was talking about. It's pretty awesome where you can set various under here. Yes, I set padding, so I wanted it to be left 25. And then let's see, did I do anything? I think I also did the same thing. Oh no, I didn't do with these, but this is what you do is here is just you say here's the text. Oops. Here, I wanted to copy that. I just select it. You select everything, and then hit Control C. But then you can delete this, and then say create new text. We were showing how to do this earlier. Do it like that, and then I just put the text back in, and then you're pretty much done. And then you can format it how you want. But a lot of this is sometimes you just kind of work with what a project is giving you. But anyway, so this is kind of I'm partially blind and maybe crazy on my UI, but these are I thought this was a really cool idea because and these could be really dynamic too, much more so than they are now. I've been working on that as well. But anyway, so that sort of takes his controller, and then on the confirm clear, he sets the title. Do you want to delete this this note? The note, and then we'll move it from and then you set up all this and you click the OK, and then I actually I think I did this differently than him. Sometimes you'll have different functions here like cancel, clear, whatever. I just use this clicked, which is just a public void string option, and then you just tell it a unique option. You can also use enumerations in here, and then I switch on the option and say, hey, on the OK, which is kind of what you want to do to remove the note. You click remove, you destroy it, you set the note to null. I was trying to mess with some setting selected objects, and then setting the text, and then sort of this is the bug text. So when we come back through, we don't, and then we set that back to false. I do this a lot. Because I'm trying to make the bug text. When you click add button, I believe up here. Yeah, I set the bug text, which is just the game object that the input field that I'm controlling, but I set that to the true. When you add the button, creates this UI object. I thought too, like this. Let's see. I guess they're quite different now, but like this UI object and this UI object should really be the same. But anyway, so then you come back through here. You set this back to false because you want to delete it. Um, and that's sort of one of the things too about this interactive UI. When you click add, it brings up the UI. You click delete, it removes the UI, and then after this, we run the save, which runs through his save through his save interface on the disk serializer. I probably named this differently, but yeah, it just implements the same sort of serializer that he does, or that Code House does. Oh no, I lost my controller. Probably why my videos get so long. And then anyways, in the cancel, you just don't do anything, you break out of it. So I would add a ton more, like add new and all sorts of things in here. You just click case, new, and then I like to, I'm pretty crazy about my formatting. You can also do the case default here. I don't think you have to break out of it, but you can say Unity, and I always do the full. Did not know what to do with, oops. And then you just give this the plus option. This is really handy because it tells you, hey, you can log an error or something. I think it's just default. Yeah, there we go. It's just default, which false. Like, so if you have an OK, let's see. Oh, sorry. It wants this is a string. So you can also do like a enum, or like a enum. You can use the enumeration to create an options as well. But here, if we if we don't have a new case, then we can come down here to the default and then did not know what to do with, and it will say new or something or whatever. So that gives you some ideas. I usually just log them. Sometimes I log them as errors. I also don't do debug because I actually have a full debug class that I use, which kind of overrides the debug, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, so that clears, this is how you sort of, this is kind of what he was doing in this project. This is kind of a really advanced, or a different project. You can see all the dialogue as you create the interface, the caller. I don't think I actually used the caller at some point, but well, this is actually was his. When you just, so it's like you. I did a lot of this too, but he set this up through a dialogue caller, which is probably pretty smart. But I just I tied it to the controller a little bit more tightly because I was interested in getting this project quicker off the ground. But that should be about it. Let's see, is there anything else I can think of? I mean, I have a lot of great ideas for this project, which is why I'm kind of probably putting a little bit more extra. Some of my UI is not great, but it's sort of, kind of working. I haven't put a UI package into this. Oh, yeah, and some of my, not sure why it's not pulling up as fast as it should be, but anyways, it just gives you some, obviously gives you some great what you can do with this, and then through this this UI, and if you don't want to, or you, and then click save, and then then you just should be able to. Oh, why did it? Huh? I must have did something with it, but anyway, so that's the general idea there. Part of it is just sort of taking code bases and saying this is what the person's doing. They have an Xbox controller. I don't, so I just implemented a tab interface, and then see, like, these buttons don't make any sense. I mean, but more of an interactive UI. And then just I like this default values because those are, makes it really easy to set this up, and I can sort of have a list of options to run, or just so I don't have to type out to test these things. But anyway, so that's my name is Micaiah Stevens. I think we have a nice promo here. Yeah, there I am. That's my real picture. I don't I don't know, maybe a few years ago. I don't look that handsome anymore, but um, I definitely love programming. I love Unity. Love working with. I've got a lot of projects on the works, a lot of games, and kind of building my own game company. And it's just really fun to work with. I like Code Hoose. He still fits in with the dark theme Visual Studio. Has really great um, ideas. Maybe they're a little bit long, but I really do enjoy the kind of lawn aspect of things like that. As with my 15-minute video here, excuse me. But it's like I just really enjoy that sort of in depth that someone can do. Really, I'm kind of a pretty advanced um, student. I've got almost 10 years plus of Unity experience, so it's like I definitely like to enjoy people that are really have. And it seems like I don't really know his name. I suppose Kudus, House, as I like to call him a lot, really seems to know what he's doing. Has a lot of, too. It's like that's what I'm really looking forward to the next part too, where it's like it's not just, hey, um, it's just this is a project and it's really simple. He's taking it to that next level, going to the web, which is kind of one of the much more complicated things. I hope he finds a free. I know Amazon's a great service and they do have a free package, but it's like I'm always like, I use a bunch of I use PlayFab for a number of services, but because they're sort of free. But I mean that's a much different service. But I'm looking really forward to what he does with his video number 3 down here, moving the data to the cloud. So, anyways, hopefully you'll be following along with that, and I appreciate everybody, and see you everybody next time. Thanks very much. Take care.